Let's move into the lab part of Power BI that we start officially working on Power BI. And in this lab, we are going to open Power BI in Fabric. We are going to create a semantic model and create the reports. So let's get started with the semantic model. As we said, if I go to, here is in our workspace. If I go to new item, and try to create a semantic model. Remember, semantic model is for data storage, right? It's a cube. It's a cube storing data, so it's in the store data section. Click on semantic model, and as you can see right now, at this point, you can only get data from files. If you create semantic model from the workspace new item list, and you can use Excel, CSV, or you can manually copy data over in the tabular format. This is definitely not what we want, right? So let's go to one lakehouse. This is the lakehouse that we created utilizing all this customer store and transaction data. There is an option for you to create new semantic model, which I'm going to click on. And in this step, I'm going to call it demo Power BI. And I'm going to select tables that are available to me. I'm going to create customer, store, not create, I'm going to select customer, store, and transaction. These three tables that are related to each other, and click on confirm. So this is how you would create a new semantic model by introducing tables into Power BI. And let's wait until it finish. So now Power BI semantic model is created, tables are introduced, but they haven't built the relationship yet. If you have a relationship defined with a foreign key and primary key, then you will see some relationship here. But in our lakehouse, this is not the case. So I'm going to close it. There's a warning that the change will be permanent and automatically saved. So I'm going to close this warning. And now I'm going to replace this tables. Basically, it will be a star schema. You can almost envision there's also a date, some kind of a date field, the date table, right? So it will be a star schema, and I'm going to build relationships. As you can see, there's custom ID which should be joined to custom ID. Store ID should be joined to store ID. If I want to start building from store to store during this relationship, I will drag from the foreign key. Remember, from the fact table, foreign key into the primary key table, which is the lookup table. So from fact table to lookup table. And the reason I do that is by default, the cardinality is many to one. So that means when you drag and drop, you're the better starting from the foreign key, which is the many side, into lookup table, which is the one side. You can drag and drop the other direction from the lookup table to fact table. But then the default is many to one, which is not right? So you need to change that to one to many. One record in the lookup table corresponding to multiple tables, multiple rows in the fact table. So remember this. By default, you should move this way, but it's okay to do the other direction from lookup from dimensional table to fact, but you just need to change. Make sure the cardinality is correct. So here we are going to do the customer too. And the many to one from fact table to lookup table, save. So now we have the relationship, we have the tables, we have a relationship, and this is built. We talk about storage mode. Storage mode can only be changed if you download Power BI desktop, not on the browser side. But this is not going to impact our usage anyway for this course, so we're going to skip this part. So, and remember, this is already automatically saved. So now we have this demo PI, and the next step, we created a semantic model. The next step is create Power BI report. So we are going to click on new item. And in the visualize data section, we have the dashboard, report, scorecard, etc. We're going to click on the report. Here you can choose from Excel, CSV, or manual data, or you can pick a published semantic model. We're going to pick that. This one I just created. You can choose auto create, or you can create a blank report. So let me start with a blank report. You can see here from the data, you already have customer, store, and transaction. What if I want to bring in transaction and I want to put the customer and the transaction amount? So now you see you are getting a grid report, right? So this is the first report you want to grid. You can create, usually what's going to happen, grid is always the last line of defense. It's always the last detail. Nobody want to get inside into a dashboard and see a grid. So what you are going to do, you probably want to create a new page, put that page as a front page. And I'm double clicking on here to get to change the name. Double click on the name and change this to front page. In the front page, you can have something like, for example, pie chart. I can drag and drop the pie chart here, or I should double click. Here I'm doing double click and select custom ID and transaction ID, right? So I get a pie chart. I can do similar things as for bar chart. Now, of course, I don't want to see the custom ID. I want to see the custom name. So what do I need to do? Now here I can click on custom name and remove custom ID. Now you can see with the customer name, I can, it's actually grouped by customer name. As you can see, Dan corresponding to the blue one, then Maggie corresponding to the orange one. But what if I want to change the display? Here is in the visualization part that in the XX, I want to have a customer name. So I drag and drop this custom name here. You can see Maggie, Nell, Tony, etc., etc. So this is how you build visualizations. One thing to note, if you are doing this tables, relating tables, how does Power BI know that the customer name corresponding to this customer number, to this transaction? That's because we already built relationships between these two tables in semantic model. This is how you see how cubes can help customers or business users does not need to understand there is such a thing as a custom ID. And they don't even need to understand there is a customer or transaction in the table. All they need to know is these are all related together. You have a transaction amount, you have a custom name, and these are already built in. This is what we call looking things from an analytical purpose. For analytical purpose, business users don't care what tables are, what columns are. They care that there is a customer, there's a transaction, and these two should be automatically related. This is what a cube does, and this is exactly what a semantic model does.